Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Spacian Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for March 2022. It's been over a year since the last update to the Spacian deck, and we are supposed to be getting some new Spacian cards in a couple booster packs, so probably in the late summer for the TCG. But until then, I wanted to give an update to the deck just with some of the support we currently have for the Spacians, and hopefully we can get some pretty awesome new support later on as well. That'll entail for an even better update. But until then, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. Starting off, we're running 2 Elemental Hero Neos. I determined if I wanted to run 2 or 3 and decided to stick with just 2 Neos. You can recycle these cards quite easily because the main focus for summoning out your extra deck monsters is with Contact Fusion, where you shuffle back your materials for those monsters. So you always have the Neos resource to utilize in the main deck, whether it be summoned out or recycled from the graveyard or put back into the deck. You have plenty of ways to do so. So I feel 2 Neos is all you really need for the deck. For the Spacian monsters, for the higher numbers, I run 2 Dark Panther and 2 Grand Mole. I feel these are the best Spacian monsters in all the numbers we run, and they go into one of the most powerful ones, being the Elemental Hero Nebula Neos. So I figured these were the ones that you run at 2 of. I don't run any Glow Moss. I just feel it's not as needed in the deck if you're going for more of a consistent play style. But for some of the lower numbers, I run 1 Flare Scarab, 1 Aqua Dolphin, and 1 Air Hummingbird. And we also don't have Air Neos. Sadly, in the deck profile, it's a much more difficult card to get a hold of. But I can show you what I would take out for an additional copy of Air Neos in the extra deck if you were to run it. But we still run the Air Hummingbird because we do have 1 Storm Neos, which requires the Air Hummingbird and Aqua Dolphin to summon. For the other numbers that we run in the deck, I also run 3 Neospace Connector. When it's normal summon, you can special summon 1 Neospatian monster or 1 Elemental Hero Neos from your hand or deck in defense position. You can tribute this card, then target 1 Neospatian monster or Elemental Hero Neos in your graveyard, special summon it in defense. You can only use each effect of Connector once per turn. So this is your go-to setup card for the majority of your Contact Fusions. Being able to get out the Neos onto the field or the Neospatian, and then also be able to then tribute Connector for the last remaining material you need, means you have your Contact Fusion thanks to just 1 card, as long as you had the additional other cards set up in your graveyard. For more of the Fusion setup, I also run 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic. If this card is normal or special summon, you can discard 1 card, add to your hand 1 normal spell or fusion normal spell from your deck, and then you can reveal 1 fusion monster in your extra deck, special summon 1 of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on that monster from your graveyard and in face down defense position. You can only use each effect of Keeper of Dragon Magic once per turn, and you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for fusion monsters the turn you activate this. So really not a problem there. One of the better cards you'll add to your hand with this card is Neos Fusion, since this card can also just set up more of your Elemental Hero Neos Fusion plays by sending cards from the deck to the graveyard for it. So this is just a searcher for you to get that spell much more easily to your hand. I also run 3 Elemental Hero Honest Neos. I want to focus mostly on just the Neospatian playstyle, so having a card that can at least hit for some pretty hard plays with your different Neospatian fusions makes it all the better, because then when you attack with that monster, dropping the Honest Neos for some bigger attack points on that monster to go up against your opponents. And then for the last of the main deck monsters, just 1 Rainbow Dragon. You can use your Neos Fusion to send Rainbow Neos and Rainbow Dragon and Elemental Hero Neos from the main deck to the graveyard to summon out Rainbow Neos, a 4,500 attack point monster, and a true powerhouse at that. But you just need the 1 Rainbow Dragon, because with the Neos Fusion, you can also send 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field. So if you do open up the Rainbow Neos and you still want to make Rainbow Dragon with those cards, you can at least use it from your hand also. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Neos Fusion. We spoke about it enough with Keeper of Dragon Magic. But you special summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck that lists exactly 2 monsters as material, including Elemental Hero Neos, by sending those monsters from your hand, deck, or field, ignoring its summoning conditions. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters, and if a fusion monster you control that lists Neos as material will be destroyed by battle or card effect or shuffled into the extra deck by its own effect, you can banish banish this card from your graveyard instead, meaning that you can keep the card on the field instead of it returning to the extra deck one more time by banishing this card, but it's also a great protection card against your opponent if they were to try and destroy it by battle or with another one of their cards. For more of the shuffle back power, I also run 3 Miracle Contact. You shuffle into the deck from your hand, field, or graveyard fusion materials that are listed on an Elemental Hero fusion monster that lists Elemental Hero Neos as fusion material. Then special summon that monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So with this, you can get out some of the bigger monsters as well. If you want to get out cards like Elemental Hero Magma Neos or, Storm Neos, Nebula Neos, you have the options readily available to you thanks to this card. All you have to do is have those cards in your hand or graveyard ready to shuffle back into the deck. And then these are another way which you can add Neos back into the deck to then get out with other cards like the Neo Space Connector. And for more draw power and graveyard setup that I spoke of, I also run 3 Convert Contact. If you control no monsters, send 2 Spacian monsters, 1 from your hand, 1 from your deck to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Just a better way to sift through those cards, and if you pick the particular one from your main deck, if you, let's say, have the Elemental Hero Neos ready for setup as well, you can have Grand Mole in your hand, then just send either Flare Scarab or Dark Panther to the graveyard, and there are your other 2 materials ready to go with the Miracle Contact to shuffle back to get out either of the 2 bigger fusion monsters to summon out. For more of the special summon power, I also run 3 Fusion Deployment. You reveal 1 fusion monster from your extra deck to special summon from your hand or deck one of the fusion materials whose name is listed on that card. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card, and you can only activate 1 deployment per turn. So, once again, setup. If you just need that one specific card, you have plenty of fusion monsters which you can reveal, and then get any of the different monsters. Even if you go for another one from the extra deck, you should still have another target with that specific Neo-Spacian or Elemental Hero Neos name on the card to use. For some of the lower numbers for the spells, I also run 2 Miracle Fusion. This card is searchable with Elemental Hero Sunrise, but also just a great way to go over some of the more generic plays. We do run cards like Elemental Hero Brave Neos, which can be fusion summoned using Neos, so using the banish option with Miracle Fusion to make that card, or even cards like Neos Knight needing a warrior monster, so Neo Space Connector, or any of the generic Elemental Hero monsters we run the deck also. For some of the one-ofs for these spells, I also run 1 Contact Gate. It's more situational, but still gives us more options for special summoning particular Neo-Spacians we may want in the main deck out into the field. But like I said, it's just a one-of, in my opinion. Also, 1 Reinforcements to the Army for searching out Neo Space Connector. You can also search out Aqua Dolphin, but most of the time I do go for the Connector. And also 1 Monster Reborn, special summoning resources back onto the field. And the 1 Upstart Goblin. This can be Call by the Grave. Also, it's player preference. I thought of Pot of Desires for the 1-of tech, but I was just ending up banishing way too many cards and, missing out on particular Neo-Spacians that I would have rather had in my hand to use. And that is it for the spells. Moving on now to the traps. The only trap we run in the deck is Next. You special summon any number of monsters with different names from your hand and or graveyard in defense position that are all Neo-Spacian monsters or Elemental Hero Neos, but negate their effects. And as long as you control any of these special summon monsters face up, you cannot special summon from your extra deck except for fusion monsters. You can only activate 1 Next per turn. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So a great way to play defensively against your opponent. Having no cards on the field, they go for the attack. You activate Next, and it gives you a wall of hero monsters, whether it be Neos or any of the Neo-Spacians. If you don't want to use them for the wall tactic on that same play, you can go for the fusion summon of the Contact Fusion after special summoning them back from your hand or graveyard onto the field to then go for that particular Neos fusion. But that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck for the different Neos monsters that we are running for the setup. I am running 1 of the Aqua Neos. This is for the Contact Fusion with Aqua Dolphin and Neos. 1 Flare Neos for Flare Scarab. 1 Dark Neos for Dark Panther, and the 1 Grand Neos for the Grand Mole. I don't have Air Neos. Like I said, if I were to run it, I'll show what card to take out for it. And I'm just not a fan of Glow Moss, but if you wanted to add it in, you could always drop 1 copy of either Dark Panther or Grand Mole for the addition of Glow Moss in the deck. For more of the generic setup, I run 2 Brave Neos. You just need 1 Warrior Elemental Hero Neos and 1 level 4 lower effect monster, which also gives us a target to use the Keeper of Dragon Magic as a fusion material. Otherwise, it wouldn't really be doing much else in the deck, but also a search power. With this card, when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Elemental Hero Neos, giving us the next option, or the Miracle Contact. Plenty of options to search out with this card, but most of the time I do like to just go for the Neos Fusion to have another fusion ready to go. For some of the bigger fusions in the deck, I also run 1 Elemental Hero Magma Neos, 1 Storm Neos, and 1 Nebula Neos, the ones that need 2 Spacians and the Elemental Hero Neos for the Contact Fusion. If you wanted to go for the Glow Moss play or the Air Neos, I do run the 1 Cosmo Neos. I don't go into it as often, so this could be the one particular spot you add an Air Neos or Glow Neos for, but also the 1 Rainbow Neos to go with the Rainbow Dragon, and 1 Neos Knight for the Warrior Fusion play with 1 Elemental Hero Neos. Once again, another Miracle Fusion target. And for the other generics, I run 1 Elemental Hero Sunrise, 1 Escuridao, and 1 Gaia. If you want to stick to all the different Spacian Elemental Hero plays, you can also potentially take these cards out, but I like running them because they're more Miracle Fusion targets. Otherwise, you're going for more of the Neos Knight plays, and you have to have those monsters ready to go in the graveyard. So with Earth and Dark attributes, like Dark Panther and Grand Mole, you have plenty of options available to you for the Miracle Fusions with these 3 fusions. And I wanted to stick to a full fusion extra deck since we do run the fusion deployment, which would limit us for some of our other plays, along with cards like Keeper of Dragon Magic. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, like I said, the Neos Fusion is a one-of card combo just where you can send whatever you want for that fusion play with just this 1 card alone, having the option to send these 2 cards to get out Rainbow Neos or any of the level 4 options, like including Keeper of Dragon Magic for then going into Brave Neos, or one of the Spacians to go for the other Contact Fusions. You have all these readily available to you with the Neos Fusion play, the wall with the next play. It all comes down to what you open up and what summon you want to use with your Spacian monsters, and just having the setup with some of the easier cards like Space Connector to then go for your Contact Fusion on the field. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely one of my favorite Elemental Hero decks. It just gives you so much of a play style to go up against your opponent, and I can't wait to see the new support we get later this year for the deck as well. Hopefully it won't be too high of a rarity, but knowing Neos, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.